What is up, everyone? We are back with another edition of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Wednesday, June 30th. And yeah, we saw a pretty good start to the week, CJ, but we're starting to cool off a bit. Lots to talk about today in terms of price action. We've been looking a lot at the daily charts over the last couple of days. Today, I'd like to zoom in a little bit and look at some, closer time frames, specifically the 4 hour with Bitcoin. So without further ado, let's hop right into this. CJ, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, Monty. Thank you, sir. However, I cannot trust a rally on low volume.
That's what I was going to say, CJ. I saw you put that in the room. We've been waiting for a rally. We're getting it, but you're still not content. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, really, I want to see us get above 36 or 37K on some strong volume. When we get rallies with low volume, essentially that is what we call like a low quality price. The way I like to think about it in volume in the markets is like, imagine if you were an investor in a mall. Like, you would want to see cars filling up that parking garage. You would want to see customers walking in the mall, regardless of how much they paid or what they bought, because you want to see traffic. That represents consistency. And that's just not what we're seeing out of the market on behalf of volume and the market participants. So, I want to see that. The reason why I mentioned the 4 hour chart to you earlier is just because we're hitting that 20 smooth moving average. Keep an eye out for that in case we get a bounce. I don't have any dojis of the day as a result of that low volume rally, but if we get a bounce from that 4 hour moving average, I'll definitely be looking to kind of change my mind and potentially look at some more opportunities. Otherwise, I'd like to discuss two news points very briefly here. The first is from Tampa Tom. We all love him, the world's greatest quarterback. But anyways, he has a historic partnership now with FTX Trading Limited, one of the largest crypto trading exchanges. If you go to his Instagram yesterday, he had a really nice video of him throwing a football into a moon. It was animated. It was all, really well done. So Tampa Tom is trying. He's trying to get the price up. I can respect that. The second piece of news that we have also coming out of the sporting world has to do with Formula One and them striking $100 million cryptocurrency partnership with crypto.com. So F1 used the sports creative artist agency to negotiate the 5-year deal with crypto.com. So, I mean, it's pretty evident this stuff is not going away. I mean, we're going to now see crypto.com on F1 cars for the next 5 years. I think that's pretty cool. And I think some of the other fans of the show who like F1 are very excited as well. So just a little bit of a market briefing there.
Yeah, that's been one thing that's been super interesting to watch over the last 6 months. I guess, since the start of 2021, you've seen so many, collaborations between these massive cryptocurrency companies and star athletes. I think that's great for not just, awareness about cryptocurrency, but also I think it's setting a precedent going forward. We talked a few months ago about Trevor Lawrence taking his signing bonus entirely in crypto. He's going to be a star. And I think that, him doing that sort of thing encourages others to do the same in the future as well. So love to see it, especially when it's coming from, the GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady. But CJ, you were talking about the 4 hour chart, and I did want to talk about that as well, because I think, you mentioned the smooth moving average acting as support. That's, that's something that I noticed as well. But one other thing I think is pretty critical to note here is this pretty staunch resistance we have from this TD sequential setup here at about, 36.6K. This level is where we got rejected. We saw a nice bounce back to the downside off this level. Like CJ said, we had very thin volume, so it's not too surprising we didn't have sufficient momentum to break through. But I have this time series highlighted because if you go back to May, the first time we started to really retest this level, you can see how many times over just the last 2 months that we've bounced, off this level. It's acted as either support or resistance. That just, to me, kind of validates my belief that this is a incredibly important level, both in terms of a level of profit taking that we often see, from people that entered just a few days ago at 30K. It's not surprising that they took profit at this resistance level. But I think one key metric to look for would be a close above this level on the 4 hour candle. CJ's hoping for a bounce off that moving average. I think that would be great. But one thing that would provide even more conviction for me in terms of the bullish thesis would be a break above that 36.65K level, because beyond that, there really isn't too much resistance until we head up to 40K. So I think if we can break above that 36.65K on the 4 hour, get a candle close above that level, following this bounce off that smooth moving average that CJ was mentioning, I think Bitcoin's actually postured very well to have a good Thursday and Friday to close the week. So we'll have to see. Like CJ said, we need the volume to step in. But in terms of technical formations, I think the 4 hour chart is kind of really dictating that the trends that we're seeing right now in the current market.
Agreed. And it is Wednesday, so we will cut to our special segment now with Chase Leon, the crypto kid. Chase, how you doing, buddy? How's your summer going? What have you been up to lately? And how have you been spending your time off?
I've been doing good, thank you, CJ. I've earned $15 from weeding the fence from my grandma. I'm still trying to figure out what crypto should I make that $15 into. I am looking at Monero. I know a thing or two about it. I read some artifacts. I do know that it was launched in 2014, and it is one of the most popular. It is one of the most popular privacy coins in the crypto market. And things have been going pretty good. I mean, I'm learning a lot of stuff I really enjoy, and I enjoy going on with you guys. It's making my life more decent.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. So sounds like you got a little fiat burning a hole in your pocket here. And I like that you're looking at Monero. Like you said, it's a very old, time-tested crypto asset. It's a fan favorite. A lot of people love it because of its extreme amount of privacy that it provides as well. So you're a young man, Jace. You gotta protect your wealth, and putting it in Monero is a good option. You don't want people to know how much money you have as a young man, so that's smart. But I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I'd love to hear next week where you decided to put that $15. Monero it sounds like that's what you're leaning towards, but there are plenty of other options out there. So keep doing your reading, keep helping out your grandma and earning that fiat to put into crypto. Love to hear it. But thanks for coming on today, Jace. We'll see you again next week.
One more thing, Monty. I just want to ask Chase. Monero, obviously the most popular privacy cryptocurrency. Chase, is there something that drew you towards that in terms of privacy, or is that something you think is going to be very important in the future?
I just did it in terms of privacy because Bitcoin's public. Almost all cryptocurrencies are public, so you could just have your privacy. For like your money, you don't want people go snooping around in your money. Look in the market. Oh, look, he has $10,000. You try to go on a crypto base something, and you look, nothing there. You can't see it because it's private.
Well, there you have it. Jace values privacy. Love to hear it. I do too. So you're not alone. But thank you so much for coming on again today, Jace. We love to hear from you, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Monty.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The crypto kid, the one and only.
CJ, yeah, I like his Monero pick. That's a great pick. I love Monero. I've been a holder for a long time, so I like to hear that the younger demographic it appeals to them as well. But CJ, one thing I did want to touch on today as well was ETH. We talked about ETH at the start of this week, and it's the signs of strength it was showing. Starting to cool off a bit. I'm just wondering, are you kind of in the same boat for ETH as you are for Bitcoin? Or are you just not impressed with the amount of volume we've seen so far this week?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up against critical resistance levels on low volume, pretty much the same as Bitcoin. You've made a really good observation kind of over the past few weeks in the sense that Ethereum was almost depressed below its moving average in relation to Bitcoin. So that kind of illustrates maybe I don't want to say a slingshot effect, but maybe like, ETH has to rally a little bit harder, or it can rally a little harder since it's been further depressed than Bitcoin. Nevertheless, we're just not seeing the volume. It needs to be a rally with substance, in my opinion. And I know a lot of folks don't want to hear that, but I just think it's the truth.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And you mentioned that that sort of relationship between ETH and Bitcoin. And one thing I've also been doing in the room is like taking that a step further and look at that relationship between ETH and a lot of the altcoin assets that we've been picking as our doges of the day. And one thing I think that right now provides unique opportunity in the space is just sort of looking at those discrepancies between the placement of the 200 period moving average. Like you said, that was a large part of my thesis for this correction in ETH. It was still showing a large positive divergence from the 200 period moving average, whereas Bitcoin was already below its 200 period moving average. And I know you don't have a Doge of the day today, CJ, but I do just kind of have it's not so much a Doge, but it's kind of an iteration of this principle I'm talking about, and a sort of discrepancy between the technicals that provides an opportunity to play the market. So an example of this that has yet to pop is Link. So my picks earlier in the week, we picked Comp, Maker, CeeLo. All of those were showing the same sort of negative divergence from the moving average. But now if you check any of those charts, they have met with that 200 period moving average and are consolidating around that level. So when I see an asset like Link that just hasn't had the speculation or the volume necessary to bring it back up to this moving average, I do think that this is sort of an opportunity in the market to play this at least just up until this moving average. Now, one thing that's interesting with Link, and the reason why I chose to highlight it today, is because it does actually have some resistance here at the psychological level of $20. Also was established by this TD sequential sell or buy not. So what I'm looking for here, the way I'm going to play this is if we can get a close on, or if we can just break above this, we don't even need to close on the daily chart above this level of $20. I would feel content to enter a long trade and ride that up to this level of $26 and about 90 cents, because I think that when we see this sort of discrepancy in price action, the market tends to bring itself back together. So I think that other people recognize this. We'll see just a little bit of volume start flowing into assets like Link that are still showing a negative divergence. And yeah, I think that that is a unique opportunity to enter a short and tidy long trade. So that is my pick today, Link, and I'll be watching for those sort of discrepancies in the market.
I love Link. I'm a long-term Link holder. I love scaling in kind of at these price levels. And the one point that's kind of positive that I do want to make about the volume that we mentioned, or the lack thereof volume, is that it's good in the sense that it's ending, or it's starting to end, the bearish momentum. The fact that we're having price in this kind of bearish to neutral consolidation, but the volume is actually decreasing, that is actually a positive sign. We just need to see it now on the upside for further confirmation. That's just kind of the way I see it. But Monty, we had a question in our community earlier this morning, and I want to bring it up to you. ETH 10K end of the year. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I still think that 10K is in the cards. The thing that can be a bit misleading about that is when we do hit those levels, then what happens? Because when we get these parabolic uptrends, CJ, we don't go to these levels and then stay there. That's when we get that serious volatility. So I think that there is still a strong chance that we hit 10K by end of year. Where we start consolidating, I can't say for sure. I think it's more likely in the 7K range, but it's hard to even think about these numbers right now when we're kind of seeing such lackluster volume and we're consolidating in such a low range, kind of right where we started the year at. But one thing that we've been talking about is how quick these moves happen. The consolidation is typically an extended period of time, and then those uptrends happen in a matter of 2 weeks. So we could be in for a period of another month of consolidation, and we may not start to see that positive price action until fall or even early winter. So even if we're sitting here 2 months from now and we're trending in the same exact range, I still believe that 10K end of year is in the cards. And a lot of that has to do with the stock to flow model and just where we're at in the current market cycle. I think that this consolidation is part of the plan. It's not too surprising that we're where we're at right now. And I think the end of year 100K for Bitcoin, 10K for ETH is still a real possibility.
Sounds like it's going to be a pretty boring month and a half that you just kind of prophesized there.
Oh, well, that's the thing, CJ. That's the thing.
September, October 2021, ETH, $2,100.
Okay, that you're right. Like that sounds incredibly boring. Like the fact that we could potentially remain range bound for that long. But there's still going to be tons of opportunity in this market. When we've seen the market consolidate in the past, when we've seen the big dogs like Bitcoin and ETH consolidate, we can still see price action elsewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what we saw. The most obvious example that people talk about all the time is what we saw with DeFi summer last year. Bitcoin was more or less range bound, and we saw some tremendous innovation and speculation in some downstream DeFi assets. So I think that, over the next couple of months, although the big boys may not rally significantly, I think that now is the time that we'll see, some maybe new projects come forward, or those DeFi assets that have been, created in the last 3 or 4 years will really start to find their value, find their investor base, and they could rally even before we see Bitcoin and ETH rally, but that would just be, in the interim. I still think that this market cycle won't play out until the end of the year. But I'm just trying to make it, not incredibly boring. There'll still be opportunities, CJ.
Patience is a virtuous trait. So, that's all I got.
Well, I think we can end it on that, CJ, with your words of wisdom and your reminder that patience is indeed a virtue. I completely agree. But yeah, if you guys want to hang out with us and try the crypto room, you can try it for just $1 for the first month. The link is right below me. It's marketbyte.com/try crypto. We have a pro charting service, which you just saw us showcase here. 24/7 community of traders from all around the world. We publish actionable trade insights with entries, exits, stop losses. We do news, education, and a whole lot more. We're constantly adding to that education curriculum. CJ's added some really awesome technical courses over just the last couple of weeks. So you can try those for just $1. And yeah, as always, thank you to Voyager for sponsoring the show. CJ, they really changed up their interest rates yesterday. Some pretty interesting stuff. DOT, 12%.
We were talking about this internally. Like, if you just hold DOT for 6 years, you already double the amount of coins that you have, regardless of the volatility of the underlying. But I mean, that's pretty powerful. Doesn't mean they're going to keep the rate at 12% for the next 6 years, but it's it's a powerful mind trick that's it's pretty captivating.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So go check out Voyager. Thank you them for sponsoring this show. And if you sign up with Voyager, you can get $25 free in crypto if you sign up with the code REBEL25 when you sign up. But CJ, any parting words for our audience today?
No. In the words of Alex Massioli, our friend at Trade the Chain, hang on to those handlebars. We'll see you next time.
Yes, we will see you next time. Also, we have a member webinar today. If you're not a member yet, like I said, you can try it for just $1. That will be at 11:30 Central. And you can just come in, ask us questions. We'll do TA on any asset that you're holding or want us to look at. So feel free to drop by. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow.